friends and viewers of Anahita TV. Thank you so much for joining me for the final and last lesson on the Grant Cardone seminar, which was done this morning. I basically took the 4 main topics that he talked about and made a video about each one. And instead of him, well, he has a home in Malibu. He's there with his kids and wife. Instead of going out partying or going to the beach, running around with his children on a Saturday morning, he decided to give us some value and put this video out. And I thought it was really important to make a video about each topic so that I could explain my point of view on each, and hopefully this is helpful to you and adds some value to your life. If you don't have time to watch the 3 hours, I made 3 short videos where I explain each topic. The first one was mindset, and I talked about psycho-cybernetics and how that book really helped people. It was written, I believe, in the late 60s, maybe early 70s by a plastic surgeon who actually became a psychologist after finding out how some people were using plastic surgery to change their mindset, and found out it's actually in your belief. And I also talk about the book Biology of Belief by Dr. Lipton. I also love Dr. Joe Dispenza. He talks about similar situations but his is more esoteric and also in belief. You know, Joe Dispenza, I believe, was ran over by a bus when he was running or on a bike in some kind of marathon or race, and he broke his back, and he decided to just go home and meditate about it instead of going through surgery that could leave him. There was a 50% chance of being paralyzed. And he refused to do that because he was a very young man, and that changed the course of his life, and he is who he is based on that experience. So that's mindset. If you change your mindset, you can be whoever you want to be. So it all has to do with your mindset. All right, marketing is number 2. I feel like most of Grant Cardone's message was about marketing and how that's even more important than being a good salesperson. And with marketing, I explained that, you know, with our access to free social media like Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, there's so many avenues that you could use, you know, Twitter, where you can market yourself and become a popular person. And what Grant was talking about was that if you become a famous person, if you have followers, you know, then you are a celebrity in your own right. And right now I feel like I talked about how the Hollywood fame has digressed and switched over to basically the influencer. And I believe I remember when Gary Vee started dating somebody new, and I guess he was divorced and started dating someone new from Shaws of Sunset. It was a big deal. It was similar to as when you found out Brad Pitt was going out with Angelina Jolie. It was a pretty big news in the social media sector. So social media influencers are definitely, I feel like, replacing the fame of the Hollywood people. Number 3 was people, basically becoming a people person and also knowing people. The more people you know, the more they can connect you to their connections, which means building more wealth, building more. The bigger your network is, the bigger your wealth is, and connecting to others. And so I give some tips on how to connect to people, how to follow up on business accounts, or when you get business cards at events, how to follow up with them. That was episode number 3. So 4 is scaling, the final episode of this Grant Cardone seminar. Thank you, Grant, for what a wonderful seminar it was. So, I mean, I'm putting in my own 2 cents and Grant's. Grant talked about scaling, meaning don't, you know, do your own lawn. Don't do your own, you know, fix your own cars. He says there's a lot of tough guys in the South, like, you know, like Missouri, Louisiana, Texas, all those places, you know, they do their own, you know, they're making 400, 500,000 a year, and then they're doing their own lawn and all of that. Because then he says they lie to themselves when they say, oh, I really like doing it. He said, no, you don't like it. You're just being frugal. And he talked about how not to be frugal in these areas, because the more time you have, that time, if you give someone in my area, I think we spend $100 a month, and this guy comes 4 times a week. And we have a small lawn, and he does the lawn, and he mows and blows and whatever. I mean, it's not extravagant. I still do my own planting of the flowers and things like that, but at least the cleanliness and the upkeep is his job, and it's only $100 a month. It's not that much, and so that's what he's referring to. You could spend $100. If those guys have bigger lawns, maybe it's $200 a month. And if you're making 500,000 a year, 200 is nothing. 200 or 300 a month is nothing compared to the time that you spend on those weekends. You could be relaxing and resting so that you could be more productive during the days that you are working, or you could use that time to be even more productive in your work if you do have leftover work. So that's what Grant's point of view was. So I'll talk about my point of view and some of the things I've learned. Scaling, my dad always said, he said that about our culture too. One of the things about Persian culture is that a lot of the guys are tough guys and they want to do everything, and he hates that. He's like, why don't you let the plumber make some money? If your toilet, something is wrong with it, with your shower, it's bathroom, hire a plumber. Let that poor guy make some money. My dad is always saying that. Or hire a mechanic. If something is wrong with your car, go get it fixed at the mechanic shop. Share the wealth. So that was my dad's point of view. Saying that, he is actually the hands-on type of guy. He is very good at fixing things. So he always fixed things around the house. But at some point, when he made enough money, he didn't anymore. He started allocating money towards that. So, and I think that's why my family became kind of successful, because they learned how to scale. Even though we were a immigrant family and we came here with nothing, we had money back home, but we had to leave it because we had to leave. When you're leaving, you can't take everything with you. And so we had to start from scratch. But when we came to a level of, we had to reach a certain level, we got to a point where we could hire people to do some of our work for us, to do our dry cleaning. I loved listening. Patrick Bet-David is someone that I follow, and he was saying something about his laundry and his dry cleaning and ironing and all that stuff, and shoe shining, because I guess he's a military man and he's used to shining his shoes. And he said he had a mentor, I don't remember who it was, but it was some wealthy type mentor that told him, if you want to make $100 an hour, stop doing $10 hour jobs. Meaning the $10 hour jobs would be the shoe shining, the dry cleaning. He's like, why are you doing those jobs? Pay someone $10 an hour to do those jobs when you can go out and make hundreds of dollars an hour. So that's what scaling is about. You learning how to become a master at delegating work. That would be at your work as well as in your home. Having a precise schedule, and I understand things come up, but having some kind of schedule that you could stick to with your family. A lot of people who are successful in their families, like my family, I remember both my parents worked. My mom was a housewife when we lived in Iran, but we moved to the United States. We had to start from scratch, so my mom had to get a job. So both my parents worked, and so I became the mom at home. It was a lot of work on my shoulders, but I had to help with babysitting. My brothers were younger than me, but what the good thing about that was I learned how to be a family. I learned connectedness, and we became a really tight-knit family. I learned how to cook by the time I was 15. I've cooked, I think, some stuff when I was 13, and I burned myself. I was this delicate kid, really skinny, and really, I was very girly girl and delicate. And then I remember the first time I made a hot dog for my brothers, because my mom was at work and she had to tell me how to make a hot dog over the phone when I was 13. She's like, okay, take it out a pan. I swear to God, I remember. Take out a pan, put some oil in it, turn it on, and put some, hot dogs in there. I didn't know what I was doing. So I, when the pan had some water in it, I put oil, and all of a sudden, it burst and there was oil everywhere, and it hit my hand, and I took the hot dog out, it was a little bit wet. I didn't know I had to dry it. I put it in the pan and I ran away, but the bubbles of oil jumped and it burned. Actually, it burned one of my arms here, and you could still see the scar for many years. And You know, for a long time, my mom would see that scar and it really hurt her and it made her cry that I had to cook for my brothers, you know, when I made the hot dog. I mean, I laugh about it now, but I mean, it was a learning curve for all of us. So what my point is that delegating, my mom was great at delegating work. If she didn't, she couldn't work outside the home because she had to provide along the side of my dad so that we could have a better life. Anywho, so delegating, that's very important. I know a lot of families that I believe in that. They allocate chores to their children. I feel like that's really, really important. If you're able to do that, I am a fan of that for sure. Hire a great team. So this is scaling, hiring a great team. That has to do with where you work or your business, wherever you're at. You gotta hire people you trust. You know, that's when I listen to Patrick Bet-David, I have his book somewhere. Where is it? When I went to the Vault, there is this whole section about how to hire people, what questions to ask, and making sure that that person is a good fit into the culture of your business. So hiring a great team, a team you can grow with and you can make them a part of your business. That's the best way to keep people, to encourage them to, you know, profit sharing is a wonderful way. I work with a wonderful man right now, and we do hospitality furniture. I do consulting with him, and he's invited me to become a part owner. He's giving me that opportunity so that when you give that opportunity to a person, they become a lot more invested. You know, when they have a stake in the business, they are more invested and they will give you a lot more return on your investment, ROIs, and that's the best way to grow, return on your investment. So great team. Get dry cleaning, shoe shining, we talked about that. Patrick Bet-David, I put PBD here. Housekeeper, I have an example for that. I've become really busy where I'm at. I've worked as a consultant with a real estate firm and also a hospitality firm, and also I work with writers, and my consulting firm actually manages some writers. And so what we do is I was cleaning my home all the time, and in Los Angeles nobody cleans their home. I know it sounds really, really spoiled to other states, but there's not enough time in the day because everything is so spread out and we drive so far to get to my job. It's an hour every day to get there, an hour back, so I lose 2 hours. And I work really hard, and sometimes I work 10-hour days, sometimes I work 8-hour days, or even longer. And then when I come home, sometimes I carry my work over. You know, I'm eating, I take time to eat, but then I go back to my computer and I continue. I'm very ambitious right now. I'm in a place where I want to grow my business. I want to grow it fast, and you know, there's no more chances. You know, I'm not 25 at the moment, but you know, I'm not trying to age myself, but there comes a point where I feel like I have amazing opportunity right now, and it's in my best interest to take advantage. So I had a hard time hiring someone to clean my home. I finally did. And the reason I did hire someone, I remember the last time I had people come and clean my home, is that I had piles and piles of bills and paperwork that I never had time to. So what I would do is spend an entire day cleaning my home, that I didn't have energy to go through the bills and the paperwork, and then I fell behind in the bills, and you get late charges. I didn't want to do that anymore. So the late charges would have equated to hiring that person to clean. So I decided I would I finally hired someone to clean my home. She's going to come in. It's a team actually of 2. They're going to come in twice a month. And when I did the calculation, I realized I would save 2 entire days, because it takes them 2 hours to clean, whereas it would take me 4 to 5 hours to clean the whole house. So because there's 2 of them, it takes them 2 hours. And then when I do clean, then I'm tired. I don't want to do anything else. So it made sense for me to hire a cleaning person or a cleaning company. So a housekeeper, that's delegating work. And then become a delegate master. I believe we talked about that earlier. To become a delegate master, it takes finesse, because as a boss or as a parent, if you want to delegate some work, you have to do it in a kind and loving manner where you do not offend the other person. So that's why I said delegate master, So you have to master that. If you want to scale and you want to grow your business, you got to be a creative, kind person and be able to use the right words so that you can delegate the work without making that person feel smaller than you, or that you are ordering them around. It's a very delicate situation, or a delicate situation. Or a personal trainer. I put hire a personal trainer. A lot of people complain about their weight. They work so hard and they make a lot of money, and I don't understand that they don't have time for a gym, or they don't make it a part of their life. And so I thought, I mean, if you're making all this money, you can afford a personal trainer to come to your home. And if you cannot hire a personal trainer, one of the amazing things that happened during the pandemic was that, I mean, I belong to LA Fitness. This is not a paid commercial, but LA Fitness has an app now. When you go to the app, there are free classes in there. I mean, it's not free, it's included with your membership. That was created because it's a very actually genius way, because nobody went to the gym during the pandemic. So they created these classes online. So if or when there is another pandemic, they're not going to lose money. They can refer you to those classes on their app. And so that's how they resolve that situation. And I think it's genius. And also for you people, for people like myself, I mean, I'm not in a place where I can afford an expensive $60 or $100 an hour personal trainer 3 times a week. That's $300 a week. Some people can, and if you can, go ahead. I highly recommend that, because I think personal training is valuable. I used to be a personal trainer. I actually studied with Equinox 10 years ago, because I did it for myself, because I wanted to know what the human body is about, and that class was amazing. In teaching me, you know, I learned how to take a pulse, I learned how to take blood pressure. You know, these are things I feel like every person needs to know. I'm a curious person, and I love the human body and learning more about it, so I felt like that class was very important for me. So I'm happy I took those classes. And one of the things I learned was that weight gain and loss had nothing to do with exercise, believe it or not, but exercise is good for your health. Obviously, if you exercise enough, and it would have to do with food and calories and all sorts of things that personal trainers help. But it was interesting. In the end, the whole solution, or there was no solution for people who have a hard time losing weight or gaining weight, depending on their body type. Exercise really didn't make a difference. What exercise did make a difference was breath, heart health, mental health. Those are the major things. And I think those are really important things. You know, muscle, also getting blood and to your bones. That's what weights do. Weights are really amazing. Yeah, I don't remember everything, so I don't want to say the wrong thing and go off into a tangent. What I want to do, talk about, if you can afford personal training, delegate your workouts to a personal trainer. Maybe they can come to your home. They, you know, bring everything so that it's easier for you. That being said, I had an amazing time explaining or going through the 4 things Grant Cardone seminar talked about on a Saturday morning: mindset, marketing, people, and scale. And I'm so happy that you tuned in. If you have any questions, please go ahead. If you have comments, actually, for our friends who are watching, if you have any tricks, any advice on how our friends and viewers can scale, please go ahead and put it in the comments. I'd love to read it and learn more. I'm ready to learn. And then I put Jordan Peterson on Elon. I watched a little blurb on this interview. Someone asked Jordan Peterson what they thought about Elon, and he said, well, I really don't know him because I've never met him, but I think he's amazing. And the reason he said he's amazing is because he's built so many amazing companies, and also he said that he's a mastermind at delegating, so mastering the delegation. So that's what I wanted to leave as an example. Elon is known or quoted by Jordan Peterson as being a master at delegation. With that being said, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you, and I hope to see you soon.